not just an alternative, the Xtreme alternative. What's good, everyone? This is your boy Four Eyes, and here I have Rob from New Era Wrestling. New. Say what's up, Rob.
Yes, hi. How you doing? Man? It's good to be here.
Chilling. So everybody's want to let you know that right now it is 11:05 p.m. here in the USA Eastern. And Rob, what time is it over there, bro?
It is 5 a.m. That is dark o'clock. in Germany. Germany. Trier, Germany.
Germany, everybody. Gotta appreciate Rob's professionalism right now, because he's doing this podcast for a call right now. We're doing a call podcast, and my man decided to stay up for me. He woke up. Did you wake up, or you stood up, or you woke up mad early?
Honestly, a little bit of both. I went to bed at like 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then I just set the alarm and then got up. So I only slept a few hours because I was recording for the next show.
Yeah, man. So you know what, Rob? Before we talk about call and all that stuff, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about yourself, man. Let's tell something that you want to tell everybody, something you want to share before I interview you and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, love to. I am ex-military.
All right, respect.
Yes, that's actually how I came to Germany. I got stationed here, first base. I did 5 years in the Air Force. One tour Afghanistan. Came back, met a beautiful German woman, who I've been married to for 10 years now. We got 3 beautiful kids, and believe it or not, she speaks no English whatsoever.
Nice. Dankeschön, bro.
Forced me to step up my my language game, so I speak fluent German now.
How long did it take you to learn German?
Well, okay. Speaking it horribly, it took me about a year. Speaking it well enough, about two and a half, something like that.
All right. How's the food?
Good.
Yeah.
Really good. Not what you would expect. It's a lot healthier than some of the options we have.
Yeah. So I got a question.
That could be a good thing, but it could be bad as well. So
you're from Germany. You know, how is the wrestling scene over there? Like, is NXT UK the biggest thing over there than it is in NXT Prime, or like how is it over there? Like, is Progress a thing or something, or Rev Pro, I believe, Rev Pro, Progress, NXT.
Yes. You hear about like those promotions, but it's weird. It's just like stateside. They're just about as big here as they are stateside. The main thing over here, believe it or not, is just like in America, AEW and WWE.
Really? Interesting. So like you wear a Bullet Club shirt and everybody's gonna too sweet you, like that's how it is over there. Oh shit, I know that, you know?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is how are the marks over there? Is it like toxic as in the USA over here, or like
no, okay, it's hard to compare. A wrestling fan is sort of an animal in its own right.
Yeah.
I don't think it belongs to any nation really. If you're a wrestling fan, there's a certain amount of toxicity, and there's also a certain amount of I don't know, how do I put it? I guess there's sort of, I feel like the wrestling community can be very toxic but very warm at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And, it's definitely the same over here. The one thing I would say is they're a little bit more conservative out here. Like,
yeah,
you wouldn't see somebody go to a wrestling show and take off their shirt. You wouldn't see that too often, or like painted faces and stuff. Like, because usually I'm big into cosplay and dressing up.
Yeah.
So like when I throw on all my stuff and take out the fake belt,
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean, like the replicas and whatnot, everybody's looking at me like, holy crap. I think the last wrestling show I went to was a SmackDown show, like a house show, and it wasn't even one of the real replicas. It was like one of the plastic replicas, and I was the only one in the entire arena that had one.
Oh my god, yeah, the fans are very like this crazy show that I seen from a European show was Jordan Devlin versus. Oh God, I lost my train of thought just now. It was Jordan Devlin versus somebody, and it was the Import Killer. That's what his name is. Fuck. But the fans there was out of like amazing. Like I never seen. I think this indie promotion was so beautifully well done that they cut like a really dope reel of that beef. It was like the Import Killer versus somebody from like a WWE or something. Oh God, I he has like a mustache. They were brawling. It was like two months ago. I saw this freaking match. I'm like, yo, this guy caught my eye. But the fans there were like, they were singing tunes, man. They were singing like a lot of stuff, and I never seen like fans like sing like songs while these guys were like brawling it out, and it was such a dope. It's so cool because you see like, all right, there are European fans where they sing songs and they take off their shoes and stuff like that. Then you have the Japanese where like you don't see a person stand up at all. They're literally sitting down and enjoying the match while screaming and chanting, but it's not like the typical stuff that we hear in the U.S. So I was like, I like seeing the different fans. Like I'm like, okay, because Lord knows if I went to a wrestling show and I'm like, damn, like what do I do? Like, do I sit down and watch these guys wrestle out, or do I go over there and chant or something? Like I don't want to chant something, and I'm like, crap, I'm disrespecting them, you know?
Yeah. No, it's funny you actually say that. So, like you mentioned, the UK fans, they sing like it's just the most, because it's in Europe. It's like a huge soccer club, you know.
Exactly.
And so for those games, everybody sings. Every clubhouse has like a song, and so they sort of bring that into the wrestling.
Like, what would I sing?
Goes.
Like, do they know these songs by heart, or is it some? All right, so it's like saying what's a famous U.S. chant that they do? There's a couple.
What do you mean, like for wrestling or just?
All right, so there's this. All right, so you mentioned the songs, right? I wouldn't know these songs, but if I'm a famous, or if I'm from that crowd of Europe, I would naturally know these songs, like the typical "Too Sweet," woo woo, "Too Sweet." All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's the trademark of like, all right, if you go to AEW or like Be Elite. Okay, we know that because that's the Young Bucks. All right, now if I go to a German or European like indie show, like what's the song? Like, am I supposed like what? How do they know these songs? Like, is it a famous? Are they doing a Beatles song? And like I'm supposed to know this Beatles song chant, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's usually pretty easy. 9 times out of 10, it's an imitation of an actual song.
Yeah.
And they'll just take like a short phrase. And it's funny because in Germany, everybody speaks German, but there's like a 10% of people that, they speak English. And so I would chant stuff in English and they chant it too, and they plug it into these songs. And their favorite one over here in Germany is, because they use it for soccer, is it's the White Stripes. Seven Nation. Exactly. Yeah. And so they'll take that and like, let's say, Braun Strowman's in the ring, and if one dude says loud enough, Braun's gonna kill you, the whole audience will just start, Braun's gonna, and then that's how it'll take off.
Nice. All right, so typical wrestling question: who's your like top 5 favorite wrestlers?
That is so difficult.
Damn, that's difficult for you. Okay.
It really is, because I have trouble choosing between things. I could name like 100 wrestlers that that are all amazing for different reasons. I usually have to break things down in categories and lists. But okay, if I'm on the spot, I would definitely, for me, top 5. I got to go with Bret Hart. He was one of my all-time favorites.
Holy shit, you said Bret Hart. Normally everybody says Shawn
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Okay. Right.
I know. Bret the Hitman Hart. For him, it would have to come from the technical side.
Yeah.
It's an understatement to say how well he was in the ring technically. I mean, he literally carried people who were not sober through matches and ended up having 5-star matches. So I would say Bret Hart, HBK, obviously Shawn Michaels. That comes from the performance side. One of the greatest performers of all time, in my opinion. I mean, there's really not much more to say to Shawn Michaels than that. I mean, so many great matches. But I will say this: I do love '90s Shawn Michaels, but my favorite Shawn Michaels is post SummerSlam Triple H rivalry. Shawn Michaels. I think when he came back.
Yeah, when he came back, he had the short hair, right? Remember he had short hair and the ugly brown tights.
That was terrible.
Oh, those ugly brown tights.
All terrible. All terrible. Haircut, ugly brown cowboy boots, all of that was all horrible.
God, those brown tights. Okay.
But the matches and the work, and he just felt bigger than he was. I feel like he came back based off of sort of his legend and myth, and created an even bigger one.
Yeah.
After he came back, that was my favorite Shawn Michaels. So then I would have to say, obviously, Eddie Guerrero, one of my favorite technical wrestlers of all time. Latino Heat, I mean, there's not much to say outside of that. He's so charismatic. Kurt Angle, one of my all-time favorites.
This is a very unique technical list, man. Okay.
Oh, man. What was that, 4? Oh, okay, you know what? Yeah, I have to put him on the list. He might not be like the best wrestler in the world, but character-wise, by far one of my favorite characters of all time, Edge.
Ooh,
definitely Edge.
Yeah.
The rated R superstar. Heel Edge.
He made me, people hated him. Shit. I've beef with John Cena? Oh, man. Can only imagine.
Yeah. And then see, now you say John Cena, and I feel bad for not having him on my list.
It's all good, man. I mean, you could replace Edge with John Cena, but then the main 4 that you just mentioned is actually like, okay, yeah, that's pretty.
That's what I'm talking about.
I would never expect somebody to put HBK and Hitman in the same in the top 5 together. Normally they're separate, but that's cool.
Polar opposites.
I respect that. All right, so enough with this getting to know each other. The reason why I got you here is because, one, you got a cough head. All right, so we'll be right back, guys. Take a short little break, and we're gonna talk about new era wrestling.
Hey guys, Jay Lethal here, and you're watching Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Extreme. All right, we're back. So, Rob, tell us about new era wrestling and how did you get into KAW? So I guess the first one is how did you get into KAW, but then, well, how did new era was born? So, give us a nice little history.
Yes, I'd love to. I'm gonna do my best to make it a short and sweet story.
No, man, we got time, bro. We got time. I don't know how many people's gonna listen to this, so we get good, bro.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm a wrestling fan and I like the promo, so clearly I love to hear myself talk. I could go on for days. But okay, I guess how I got into KAW, I would probably say when I was about 7, 8 years old, and I swear this is true. When I was about 7 or 8, I watched wrestling since I was 4. When I was about 7 or 8, I started getting like the little action figures.
Yeah.
And so eventually I got a ring for like Christmas and everything like that, because everything was just wrestling. My dad was like super into wrestling, so I just automatically got into wrestling.
Okay.
And so I would get like the action figures, and I would play out the matches in the ring, and I'd do the voices, and I would like beatbox the entrance music and everything like that.
Is this on camera, like on VHS? Like your mom is recording you? That'd be amazing.
Sometimes when I was allowed to use our like old school 80s like shoulder cam, then yes, I would prop it up on some books, and I would do this thing, and I would have these matches and everything like that. And eventually because as a kid I started imagining up new wrestlers that don't exist.
Yeah.
And I would just like, I'd be like, this guy's name is Genuine, and this guy's name is Big Bob Jackson or whatever. And I would start creating all these characters, and pretty soon I had like an entire roster. And I would be sitting there, and my father would be like, wait, what did you just say? Hulk Hogan's facing who? Oh, he's facing Johnny Appleseed. What? Who's Johnny Appleseed? That's Macho Man Randy Savage, the figure you got there. It's like, no, that's Johnny Appleseed. And so I guess ever since then, I did it forever with action figures. And then, the new age came, and we had Nintendo 64, and nothing changed. Now, I wasn't doing it with action figures and toys. I was doing it with WCW versus NWO Revenge on Nintendo 64. And instead of seeing Hulk Hogan on the screen, I'm seeing Big Bob Jackson.
Yeah.
And, and the funny thing is, because I'm such a freak, and my brothers as well, I have 2 younger brothers, and they were also very much into it. We would play these matches, and we're not filming, we're not recording, but we're like doing commentary.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
As we're playing, so we're like, oh my goodness, and we got Big Bob Jackson coming off the top rope, and a huge forearm. and my dad's sitting there like, gee, what did I do? Like, what did I create? Like,
what is this?
Exactly. And so just through the years, if there was a wrestling game, there was me doing that. And then fast forward to now, about a year and a half ago, I'm still doing the same thing as a kid in private, because now I'm an adult and nobody needs to see me like that, except my kids.
Relax, social media's a thing now. Daddy. You're in it.
Yeah, and now I'm creating my own call of me and like my own wrestlers and stuff like that. And I've been doing that ever since, ever since that was available to be done. And so about a year and a half ago, I got this bright idea, and this is one of those moments that like where you look at yourself in the mirror and say you're an idiot. Like, I got the bright idea, hey, let's start the first ever league. And so I told my buddy, with whom I mod a couple Facebook wrestling groups where we just like talk about matches and stuff like that. And I hit him up, and I was like, dude, let's start a league. And he was like, what do you mean a league? And I'm like, we make original characters, and we put them online, and we do shows and record it and everything like that. Now, I'm saying all of this not realizing that there's an actual EFED community out there. I had no idea that it existed.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's one of those communities. It's like underground music. Like, if you're into it, like if you're into it and you look for it, you'll find thousands upon thousands of different bands, different small EFEDs. You'll find them, but you have to look for it. If you don't look for it, you'll never know it exists. And so that's me. I'm like, let's start a league. And so we started this like half-ass league, and we had no idea how it worked. We ran it for like 3 or 4 months. We did like 2 pay-per-views, a couple shows, and it went terribly. It failed nearly immediately. But one thing that another good friend of mine who I met through EFEDing, I had accidentally invited him to be a part of it. It's like, hey man, come on in. we do these crazy promos and stuff like that. And just a side thing, I started doing, so I still don't know what e-feds are, but I'm doing promos. And the reason I'm doing promos is because the same guy who I started the league with, very unwelcome, might I add, we were dropping promos on each other in regular wrestling Facebook groups that are not at all associated with
Oh
e-feds.
man, so you must get all the hate.
Because what we would do is, and I started it. I had my little, replica belt, and we would start for the groups. We would start doing prediction battles, and it just escalated. First, it started off written, and then it started off me and him promoing against each other. Like, well, I'm gonna beat you in the predictions contest, and I say this person's gonna win, and I got the belt on me and stuff. And so we're promoing back and forth like that, and so. Back to where I am with my failed league, him and I, Rich Haynes is his name, and we're back to our failed league. I invited this guy to be a part of it, and it turns out he'd seen our promos before, and he was interested in my character, the anarchist Rob Roman.
Yeah.
And he was like, when I invited him, he was like, nah, I don't have time to be in your league, but I think it's cool what you're doing. If you want, you can come over to my e-fed. I was like, what's an e-fed? An e-federation. I'm like, what? And so he invited me to his group. He's like, just take a look around. I'll send you an invite. Take a look at a couple of the shows. Watch some of the promos. I'm like, okay. And so I go to his group, and it was like somebody opening up the gates to El Dorado.
Yeah.
I had no idea. None. I look into this place, and the page is full of all these promos, like different people doing what I do, that I thought I was alone in the world of doing this stuff. And some of them are really good. And I'm like, what? So I watched the YouTube show, and I'm like, what? They're recording this stuff too? I was like, this is a thing already, and I didn't know about it. And so I hit him up, and I was like, how long have you guys been doing this? He's like, oh man, we've been doing this like 3 to 5 years, something like that. I was like, what? This has been around this entire time, and I didn't know about it. And so I went into his e-fed, and I created my character. I shut down my league, invested all my time into his e-fed.
Yeah.
And I guess the rest is history. Eventually, I branched out on my own, and because I quickly became a part of creative over there, because I just had all these ideas, and I would pitch them. And at first, they would fall on deaf ears, like the first 6 months, because I was new, and I can understand that. But I would just be like, literally once a week, I would write these massive, like 3 to 6 page emails, where I'd be like, hey man, I got an idea for the television title. And they'd be like, dude, we don't have a television title. I'm like, I know, but we could have a television title. And so I send them this stuff, and half of it they didn't even read. And then I guess one day by accident they read one, and they were like, oh, okay, I like that. And then so they put me in charge of the women's division. And just from there, I worked my way up in creative until I was producing a show with them, like my own separate show.
Okay.
And then after that, at a certain point, I was like, you know what, man? I'm watching all this. I think I could do this on my own. And then I just branched out and started new. That's how new started, that long, drawn-out, ridiculous story. That is how it started.
So this was what, in 2017 or 2018?
The end of 2018.
When you discovered when you discovered that there was a whole community, when was this? Like 2018, 2017?
It was I think it was August of 2018. That's when I discovered it.
We were still filming season 2. Cause same exact story, the same way you thought about it, but I did it I found out late 2016. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you're in the same exact story. Like, there's people that do this? Like what? Yeah.
That's crazy. When you find out, you're like, what? It's like being accepted in this secret society.
Yeah, exactly. So continue, man. Continue. I like hearing war stories. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. So while I'm over there and I'm working like creative and everything like that, up until this point, I've only ever played one character, and that's my character, the Anarchist, Rob Roman.
Uh-huh.
And basically, I think, I don't want to sound like a tool, but it's kind of hard not to.
It's wrestling, bro. Everybody's a tool in wrestling.
Yeah, basically. That's why my heel work is good. I think the thing that got, I guess you could say, my character over in their EFED, and now when I started out with him, I'm sort of a dance with the one you came with type of guy, and so I was starting to get a little bit more popular after a couple of months over there doing my character, and because their group is public, so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Everybody can post or comment, and so we get a lot of outsiders who will just come in and watch a couple shows and comment and whatnot. And we also get a lot of scouts trying to poach coming in there. And
AKA me.
After
I was one of those.
Really?
Well, I tried to get
you.
you. I tried to get you, but you said, you know what? I got my Fed. I got I'm busy. I'm like, okay, I respect that, but doors are always open.
Oh no, you know what? Actually, I will get to how I stumbled across your EFED. I will get to that.
Oh, I can't wait.
So anyway, I started to get a little more popular with the character, and I started getting all these offers from just like, some of the other, for me, well-known EFEDs, like Worldwide Wrestling, EDub, or 3Dub, excuse me. Or like MIW, Metal Impact Wrestling, another big one in their heyday, which I am now part of, by the way. I finally, after a year of being at one place, I ended up, I just had this, okay, there's this dude who, he was in my EFED.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenal. He really is. He's fantastic. He's a good friend of mine. His call name is Cody Omega. He is fantastic with his promos.
Uh-huh.
I mean, top notch. And we always wanted to rival with each other, but while we were in the same EFED, we were always like on the same side. We were both heels, and we became a part of the same stable.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, he had a falling out with the guys of our mutual EFED, and so he left. And when he left, it was like he just exploded. Everybody was talking about Cody Omega. No matter which EFED would send me offers after that, like after that point, I would get offers, and one of the first things they would say is, yeah, man, we do this, we do that. And, we got a stacked roster already. We got this guy. We got this guy. We got Cody Omega. And I'm like, yeah, you got Cody. I know you got Cody. I talk to him all the time. I know he's over there. But and so, like, in my head, I'm like, I'm at this one place. And I'm starting to get over a little bit. But Cody is over everywhere. And it's like... And I'm like, if I branched out, I could build sort of my name as well, too. And so after a little over a year, I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. And then I opened the floodgates. I'm in like 5 or 6 now. And way too many. And that's been that way for a couple of months now. And fun fact, I still haven't feuded with Cody Omega. In fact, in another one of our mutual EFEDs that we're in together, we have landed in the same stable yet again together.
So nobody trying to book that?
Day,
like, crap, man. Shit.
Everybody says they want to see it.
So somebody book it.
They want to see it.
Yo, if you're listening to this right now, somebody book Cody Omega versus the Anarchist Rob Romaine. Come on, man.
It'll happen. It'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
But like I said, and just for me, like, he's so, like, when I see Cody Omega, that's who I want to promo against. Because I I love promoing against everybody. I love working with everybody. And I feel like I can make anything work. But for me, like the thing that really like motivates me, I want to work with people that are like that I see as better than me.
I think that's like that's really it in CAW itself. It's sometimes half the time. Well, me personally, in CAW, you gotta get people who does amazing promos, who can speak and who can talk, because outside of that, it's just a freaking video game. And it could be player versus player. Leagues is how good are you are with the controls and the mechanics of the 2K game or whatever game that's your engine. But that's about it. So I could watch that on Twitch. I can watch that on whatever. I can watch that on whoever's it. But if you're watching a legit CAW show, people are only watching it. Well, if you're a hardcore CAW head, it's all about the promo and the way you look. And now if it's a person who's just casually watching, it's like, I'm just watching the video game. But outside of that, it's, holy crap, this guy's really good and he's actually getting my eye. Or 3 is, if you're a good YouTuber and content creator, is how good is this show freaking produced and directed and et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah,
as a content creator, as me, I'm looking at it as all aspects of how good is this show. I can watch any other CAW show, but if I'm seeing the little subpars and whatnot, okay. But then I'm like, I always skip to the, okay, who's in this show? Can this guy really capture me with this promo? And yes, that's how I discovered you. Because I saw this one thing, I'm like, okay, this guy is not shooting in portrait mode. Is he holding a DSLR? Because this camera's amazing. That's what I'm looking at. Like, what iPhone or Note 10 is he doing? Because he's not using the selfie camera. Is he doing one of these? Like, so, yeah. But continue. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I think that's what I always shoot for. I think as far as being a good speaker and public speaking, which, I mean, if you Google any survey, 9 times out of 10 the survey will say, most people would prefer death over public speaking.
Yeah.
And so you see a lot of the written promos, or you see just like sort of audio broadcasts because the people are camera shy. And so that sets you apart from a lot of them. And then you've got the guys who do video promos who are confident enough to sit in front of the camera. And I think it's one of those things, it sounds like one of those Hollywood sayings, but either you got it or you don't, kid. Basically,
basically, it's really like that.
You could see it. Like, some are good, but there are some that are just like great. Like, dude, you could be on radio or TV or something with like the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the tone, the delivery, and so that sets another group apart. And you have like this small group of guys that just do this for fun, and they're amazing. Guys like Cody Omega, guys like, Jeremy King Chaos, or, you know what I mean? And you see them and you're just like, damn, okay, that's who I want to work with. Yeah. And obviously there's a line. You come into an EFED and you find out, 20 people are in front of you who want to work with that guy. So you're going to have to wait. That's partially why I've never worked with Cody Omega. Because a lot of people want to work with him. But when I shoot a promo, that's sort of what I try to do to get a leg up, because I noticed that in this small group of like top tier promoters, all of them can speak good. All of them have great delivery. All of them have cool characters. But I feel like there's another small margin for, to sort of stand out. And that's with the showmanship of it. Yes, you're a great talker, but how far are you willing to go with it? And that's sort of my thing. Like, I commit. Like, I'll do a weird camera angle. I will drive out 20 minutes to a bridge. And I did this one time. I woke up extra early, today, because I wanted to do we were building up to a pay-per-view, me and this other guy. Yeah. And I am ex-military. He's ex-military too. Mm-hmm. So we brought that into the storyline. And I was like, it hit me one day, because they were sort of booking me kind of like Stone Cold at the time, because they were like anarchist, raise hell, Stone Cold. Yeah. And at first I was like, dude, I don't want to be like the second somebody. I want to be the first.
I want to be the
you know
first
what I mean?
Yeah.
But from a booking perspective, I can understand why they would do that. And so I was like, all right, whatever, cool, I'll roll with it. And I was like, okay, so they're booking me like Stone Cold. And I think I was at the swimming pool with my kids. And it just sort of popped in my head. And I was like, oh, okay, I know what my next promo is. And so I had to hit him up and management to make sure that this wasn't too offensive, because I've run into that problem before.
Yeah.
And I said, are you cool with me doing this? And he was like, dude, that is towing the line, but go ahead and do it. And so what I did is I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I drove out to this bridge, and I had replica dog tags made.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I, like, during this story, because this was a long storyline, I had these replica dog tags, which I was just sort of waiting to use at some point. And in the story, after one of our matches, I had gone over and I kayfabe took his dog tags. And so fast forward to now, I'm like shooting a promo on a bridge. It's still dark. There's only like a street light, you know, lighting up what I'm about to do. And I cut this promo on him and I go, your dog tags, you know, they sleep with the fishes, and I throw them off the bridge.
Talk about heat.
Stone Cold style.
Yeah.
Stone Cold style. And so, man, and then I could not wait to post that. And then I did, and the whole group went crazy. They were like, dude.
Sick.
And the guy I did it to actually hit me up after that. He was like, I know I said it was okay to do, but I have to ask this. Were those real dog tags? Because you really threw them up off the bridge. And I was like, yes, they were real, but they were replicas. Don't worry. He was like, dude, I was about to flip out, man. But and it's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm willing. Like I could.
Yeah, you give that extra 10%, man. You know, that's
what I try to do.
Yeah.
Just sort of set myself apart.
Yeah, that's good. That's shit. That's amazing. See, I like that. That extra 10, you know. Dope.
Well, that's actually a good segue. That's around the time that I discovered the Extreme Alternative. All
right, so we're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna talk about. Well, he's gonna talk about my show, XVPW, not just an alternative, but the Extreme Alternative. So take a break.
Sir.
Here's a little whatever, and we'll be right back.
This is Isaiah Cassidy. I'm Mark Quinn, and we're a private party.
Yeah, and you're watching Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Extreme. In 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, what's up, everyone? Let's go. So, Rob, how did you discover Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling?
Yes. So I'm in creative at this one place. HKW, it doesn't matter, I'd say their name. Great EFED. HKW. So I'm there. I'm on creative, and I had mentioned Cody Omega earlier and how he had a falling out with management there. And so he left, creative differences and whatnot. He left, and his whole stable left with him. So he had like his best friend, another guy, great guy, King Watkins. That's his call name. He leaves with him.
Yeah.
They're in two major arcs. So this throws our long-term story writing and scripting completely just up in the air. We have to change main events. We have to change storylines. We have to sort of swerve and, correct and fill spots that are now open. If I'm not mistaken, both of which were champions at the time too when they left. And so it's like we had like an emergency meeting. Like we had to all of management in a chat, like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna put on the next show in 5 days now that these guys are gone? How are we gonna write them off?
So it's basically you're basically losing your top guys, basically, who both have belts. That's like saying, crap, guys, we're losing Brock Lesnar, we're losing The Fiend. What the fuck we're gonna do? It's all about these gauntlet matches now. Like, earn your stripes, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, basically. It's so... I immediately jump into recruit mode. I'm like, all right, let me see if I can branch out and find, some cool people. And I found a couple people, and I suggested them to management and everything like that. But by far, the thing that stood out the most is, I think, while I was searching, because I was going into like these vast community pages of like just broad.
So you're basically looking at WWE 2K, WWE 2K Cause, eFed Central.
Exactly.
These groups that have like 900 something people, but they're all promoting their cause and not like their same channel. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. And I come across your post, which I thought was really cool. It stood out to me for two reasons. For one, it stood out for me because it was a post where you weren't promoting your own product. You just posted and you were like, hey, if anybody's got an eFed, you could post it right here or drop a link in the comments and I'll promote it. And I'm like, what?
Which nobody does not do. Yeah.
Nobody does that. Everybody, wrestling has moved light years into the future in real life. You have partnerships now with like ROH and New Japan. Not anymore, but you had partnerships like ROH and New Japan, Lucha Underground. That's where real wrestling is. E-fedding is like 50 years behind because e-fedding is still very territorial. Everyone's like, this is my side of the road. You stay over there. No partnerships. Don't you ever mention your eFed and my eFed. Don't even look over here unless you want to promo for me, in which case quit that eFed and you come to my eFed.
Yeah.
And so like every eFed, that's a huge thing.
And you know what's crazy about that one post, which I remember, is I specifically told people in that post, write a small description of your show, then put it on the comment section. They just put link, and I'm like, oh great, now people's not gonna know like what your show's about. It's just a freaking link. Like, come on, it's a simple post. It's not like I didn't put the read more. I just put put a small description. Shit, write a long description. Sell me your product. Oh, http youtube.com/x95. So I'm like, but whatever. I'm the nice guy. Sure. Like Lord knows it. Lord knows if I'm freaking director right now, and I'm like, yo, fix your shit. But yeah, continue, man.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I think I was one of the idiots who just posted the link.
Good shit, Rob. Thank you for selling me your product. Now I understand why you're like 100 subscribers or some shit like that.
No, I think I just put the link. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think I read too much into it. It wasn't even my eFed. It was for HKW, who I was working for at the time.
Yeah.
I just threw their link in there. I might have put a sentence in there saying, hey, this is an eFed with this. But I certainly didn't go into detail about descriptions. I think I just posted the link. That's the new I guess millennium of non-readers out there like myself. But so yeah, I see that and I'm like, that's weird, man. He's like promoting other people. That's cool.
And I was doing like that. I was doing that like once a week, like promote your show, promote your fed. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I dropped the link, and then I remember clicking on your profile and stuff, and I was like, okay. And I started to see like, some stuff, and so I hit you up. I was like, dude, like after seeing a few of the videos, light years apart from some of the eFeds that I've seen, the promos and the actual like, I don't know how to word it, but like the scenes. Like I remember I specifically watched. First of all, what impressed me was everybody. Well, not everybody, but like most people in eFed use green screens. But what I've never seen is somebody do an in-ring promo using the green screen. I was like, what? And the dude doing it was like, seriously, 1-for-1, identically dressed as his car. So I was like, what? That's commitment, man. It's not just some dude in a t-shirt, you know, promoting for a guy who's in like a Speedo. He's like legit in the same clothes and he's doing an in-ring promo. So I was like, what? And so like most people who watch YouTube, I went down like a rabbit hole and just started clicking on everything. Just started watching everything. What? And the promos were excellent, and the production quality, my God, the production quality was so top notch. I mean, it was so well done. And then like I see just sort of you have more of the serious promos, but there's also like the funny and the comedic side. Like I saw the general manager with his blonde, like perm wig. His so obviously a wig, but he's sitting there, and you know he's got his office, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of the superstar, but it was.
Did you ever see what his office looks like? Do you know what his office is?
What is his? What is that office? It looks like it was just like a little back room. It was dimly lit.
All right, it's it's a back room, and what does it have behind the room?
I don't remember.
It's a casting couch.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're kidding me. Oh
For
God.
people who knows XVPW and like, yeah, I specifically wanted that. It's just like, okay, there's their Xtreme right there. It's a casting couch.
Oh my God. So that is on purpose then. Okay.
Yes. Yes, it's on
Okay.
purpose.
So it's a bit. Okay.
It's like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, continue, man. Yeah.
Oh man. Like I said, I can't remember for the life of me the name of the character, but he was sitting there.
What does he look like?
He was an African American guy, and he had
The Black Panther?
like a long, yes, and he had like a long black leather trench coat. And he had like his girlfriend or manager with him, and they had just burst into the office and they're complaining about something. And I remember the general manager, he walked like a fine line between cheese and serious, and he offered him like the opportunity to be the first ever something champion.
Yeah.
I can't really remember it. And just the production quality of that cutscene. A lot of times you would expect to see something like that as just one scene, like one long video, but it wasn't. It was cut up with like close-ups back and forth, and both sides had decent acting chops, and I was like, man. And so after that, that's when I hit you up directly. I was like, hey man, how long have you been doing this? And and ever since then, I always peek in every now and again, and just to sort of look at things, and see what's going on, and I remember going back to HKW, and they're like, did you find anybody? And I was like, well, I found another E-Fed. I was like, you guys should definitely, and I showed them the link. I was like, you guys should definitely check this out as far as production quality, and you need to step your game up a little bit. Because I was like, if there's an E-Fed out there like this, with the cut scenes and just some of the promo and the acting, not just promoing, but acting in there, I was like, if this is out there, man, we need to step up our game a little bit. And I remember they just sort of never minded me and sort of were like, yeah, well, we need people. We don't need, other E-Feds or whatever. I was like, all right, whatever. My bad. All right. I'll shut up and color. But that's actually how I...
that's cool. You know what I like about what you just said just now? You mentioned everything that's awesome about, or unique or original about the Fed, but you did not mention the Young Bucks, like Ricochet, Tessa Blanchard, Razor Ramon, who else do I have in there? Like the Undisputed Era, those shout outs. I'm happy that you did not mention not one of those guys, because that's what people who get on us be like, oh, your show's only over because you got these indie or these wrestlers shutting out your show. And I'm like, no, that's not why our show's over. That's just a
No,
little icing
no.
on the cake. I cannot
No,
have.
those are-
I don't need those guys in our show, and our show will be 10 times better. Still be 10 times
No.
better. Like, it's not
You
about
don't.
that.
You really don't.
No, at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I only did that
and
just to give back to the fans. Like, oh shit, that's dope. You got those.
I can tell that when I look at your product.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with your channel. I sort of see that as, I don't want to say separate, but if I were to compartmentalize your EFED, then yeah, I see that as separate. Your product is your product, and that's the bread and butter.
Oh yeah.
And they don't come into that. The shout outs and the interviews, I was greatly impressed by your channel, because I was like, dude, I won't say it brought legitimacy to your show, but it certainly brought legitimacy to you. I was like, look at him mixing it up with all these guys. And so I'm telling my wife this, who is not a wrestling fan at all. I'm like, man, because like I said, I went down a wormhole and I just started clicking on everything. Oh my God, look at this, man. Oh my God, look at this. And so I'm telling my wife, and I'm naming off all these guys. And she's like, who? And I'm like, this guy running an EFED actually like gets shout outs, does like these short little interviews with like real wrestlers. Oh my God, that's so cool. I was like, yes, right? I was like, yes. That
Did you
is
tell
really
her
cool.
that
I don't know anybody else.
Did you tell her that the EFED? So their venue, check us out, right? Their venue is called St. Beth's School for the Blind and Deaf. I'm like, what? Yeah, that's why their matches are always 5 stars, because nobody can't see or hear what's happening. So we just have to listen to the commentary. And the reason why their venue in St. Beth's School for the Blind and Deaf is because they lost their venue to the general manager who always like spends the company money on drugs and porn. And I'm like, and what the fuck are you talking about? And guess, there's the best one right here. The general manager spent $20 million in company money on just one superstar. So the rest of the people just working there for free.
Those are fun, like, ideas, dude. Oh my God.
It's like, cause that's all right. So there's call. I do my best, because when I do this project, when I thought about this, I was like, all right, it's either one, we take this seriously, or two, we're just gonna have a fucking blast, guys. We're just gonna have fun, all right? Because there's people, same story as you. I went in this not knowing that there was a freaking show or community around. So when I did season 1, I did not know there was a community at all. So I break my show down into seasons and whatnot. This is how I operate my Fed. I break it down to seasons. I do a shit ton of writing before I even go into production and whatnot. So season 1 was just a hit and miss. It's just a tournament to see who's XVPW champion and etc. Right? I break it down to seasons, so each episode is a match. All right. Boom. After season 1, we got huge feedback. Like, people are like, yo, your show's amazing, blah, 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 you know, all this stuff, etc., etc. And I told my friends, like, yo, we got like a lot of subscribers within the freaking first season and shit like that. Like, do we want to go on? Do you guys want to do another season? Yeah, fuck it, let's do another season. All right, cool, boom. So we are a bunch of new guys. Everybody in the call scene was like, yo, how long have these been guys doing it? These are the guys who are just cutting promos left and right, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, we don't know nobody. You know? We don't, like. And we had a guy who's in your Fed now named Zulite. And he's the one that discovered us. And I discovered him through an app. And he owns a Amiibo group or some shit like that.
Amino.
Yeah, Amino, right? So
Amino.
yeah, I was posting it on that. And he wanted to join us ASAP. Like, I'm like, okay, fuck it, because he showed up he discovered us in season 1, but then I was like, yo, you're our first new recruit, you know, you're in, fuck it, yeah. Then There's a guy named Cash, and so when season 1 came out, there was 2 guys that reached out to me who invited me into the gates of KA. That was Ryan Paul Jones, who owns El Dorado Championship Wrestling, and there's a guy named Cash who's very cool and whatnot, but out of nowhere. So for those who probably, there's a reputation XVPW, so there's people who take this way too seriously, and there's people who don't care, whatever. So so at the end of season 1, we cut a very ECW-esque promo because I wanted to throw some little Easter eggs in there and say, hey, we're calling you guys out. One of them was COH, which is Call of Honor, and the other one was El Dorado Championship Wrestling. And from there, we got some backlash, and yeah, fuck.
Well, COH is one of the biggest. You called out COH.
Yeah, we called out COH. So if you saw the end of season 1, during the main event, the manager was just drinking. He was like this. And he said these words. He was like, what you call it? We're not like those regular lives there in El Dorado Championship Wrestling, COH, and American Wrestling of the Federation. See, we take things to the extreme. Not like those regular guys out there. And we're like, what the? You know? But we gave them their respect. We didn't bash them or nothing. We just say, hey, we do things differently here in Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling, you know? Then, you know, that got out, and next thing you know, fuck XVPW, fuck you guys. And we're like, it's okay, man. Like, so the kayfabe of our show is basically we're the down dirty, we talk shit, we talk trash. But deep down inside, as me, the creator, I am a very humble person, no matter how many times I fucking troll you guys. But it's all cool. I don't mean it in no harm, but hey, we're just having fun, and we just want to get ourselves out there, even if we do have to mention some names. New JTV.
You know, actually, it's actually funny you say that. I'm gonna address this, and I know my guys are gonna be happy when they hear this that I addressed it. There was a huge supporter of yours that came over before we even had our first show. Like, so I'm starting to try to build up New as a brand and everything like that. And overwhelming support from every direction. Like, when I started it was just going to be NPCs. Because, and by the way, I have to give the shout out to you. I know that how you produce your show. I studied it. I didn't just watch it, I studied it.
And that's a big compliment, and I'm happy you do that.
It's an amazing product, and if you're starting in EFED, that is an amazing template. Your EFED, that if you want to do it right, your EFED's a good template of how to do it right. And so I was like, yes, I need to write first. I need to get stories down, backgrounds down before I even film anything. And so I adopted that. You had told me when we were talking about me maybe coming in, you had told me that you like to have everything to a certain point ready and written out and planned before you even start production. And I respected that. I was like, yeah, that's good. So I adopted that. And so it was going to be mostly NPCs for New. And I was gonna ask for like 1 or 2 role players, friends, and before I even could, and that's just the EFED community. I got bum rushed in my inbox, just all these role players. Dude, I want to be a part of New. When's this thing going? When's it launching? How do you run it? What are the championships? I'm like, man, I didn't even think of any of that yet.
Yeah.
I'm just laying the foundation right now, brother. But okay, I'll put you on the list. And so it escalated quickly. And so I wrote all this stuff out before we could get into production. And we're heading into our first show, and a huge, big time supporter, and I don't want to butcher the name. It's not a person, it's like Legion, it's mini. It's a site going out and checking out EFEDs.
Yeah.
wrestling virtue. It's like WVGU, something like that.
Oh, WVG. I heard about it, but I don't know them. To be honest, all right, so I'm going to do this right now. If your show is trash, meaning it's just a link of you playing and there's like no intro, blah, 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 I'm not going to watch it. But if there's other shows out there with, I don't want to say I-type of production, but if the people's actually trying, then I'll watch it. So yeah, I heard about WVGU and whatnot, and I heard about other shows. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess they have like their own show, but they also just it's just like a vast community of like mini shows that they sort of support over their site or something like
Word.
that. And so I guess they stumbled across New. They're huge fans of yours, by the way.
Oh yeah,
huge fans of yours.
I didn't even know. I'm not even in these groups, so I don't know. I stopped being in these groups a while back. I'm like, yo, I'm not getting views or nothing. This shit is trash. People just watch their own show. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool that we got subscribers and fans.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah. The first thing, well, okay, because he comes in, we had were promos up at this point, and me being the territorial promoter that I am, I took the world champion from one company, MIW, Cody Omega. There he goes again.
Oh yeah.
Because he's the top guy at MIW. He's the undisputed champion there.
Yeah.
And I go, who can I put this dude against that will sort of make an impact and make people do a double take, like, what? And so I went to HKW, the place where he had the falling out. Their falling out was very public, and so I took their world champion, Evan Jones, and I'm like, icon versus icon, both current world champions at the time. They're going to meet on New at the first big show, and they're going to fight. And they promoted against each other, and that sort of brought in like their crowd and their crowd. Like MIW fans are watching, HKW fans are watching, and that sort of helped and everything. So we're building this first show, and this guy comes in, or this site comes in, and he immediately just calls everything that we're doing trash. I'm like, what? I'm like, what?
Was this like was this on like a Facebook comment, or like this on YouTube Live and they're just like chatting like on the sidelines?
No. He came to our page and started commenting under the promos, like, this is trash, this isn't even close. And he was like, this isn't even close to XVP, this isn't even close to, COH, this isn't even close, to the Extreme Alternative. And I'm like, okay. And so immediately Cody Omega jumps on him, and he's ripping him in the comments.
Nice.
And Evan from the other company, HKW, he's jumping on him. And I got all these guys on the roster like, hey man, why you gotta come in here, bash stuff like that? And they're all like getting rude and crazy, as the internet does.
Of course.
And I'm so flattered because they were defending me. And
that's a good feeling, right? It's such a good feeling.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. And but me, in the midst of all this, I'm the type of person. My character is a complete asshole. Yes, I'm arrogant as hell. As a person, though, yes, I can be an asshole. But as a person, though, I feel like there's nothing you can't talk out.
Oh, of course.
And so, I never once hopped on this dude's case. Everyone's attacking him, and throughout all of these derogatory comments defending me, I'm very cordially asking him, all right, well, what is it about the product that you don't like?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like the promos. And he's like, I don't like the promos and how they cut it and this and that and the other. And I was like, okay, well, is it that you don't like the promos or you don't like the characters? Because they're both heels. This is a rare occasion where it's heel versus heel. And he's like, well, no, I also don't like this, and the production value, if you're trying to sell me on this show, from what I've seen, you're not doing it. And I'm like, well, and I said, okay, well, I respect your opinion. You're entitled to it, of course. And I thank you for giving us a shot, but maybe you're just not our demographic. And so he's like, and so I'm like, sort of killing.
It's out of doubt he's trolling too. He could be trolling, but whatever. Yeah.
That's what I think. Maybe he was trolling, maybe he was sincere. Either way, I'm not just a member of the roster, so I feel like I have to carry myself a little bit more professional than the guys who were riffing him. And what is it for one more guy to jump on the dog pile anyway? So I just wanted to understand this guy. And,
Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, the one thing that I said, and I said it very politely, I said it pretty much exactly how I'm going to say it here. I said, maybe you're just not our demographic. And, I'm sorry you don't like the product as it is right now, but I think you're jumping to conclusions on judging our product before our first show even starts.
Exactly.
Said, well, no, and he goes, well, it's just my opinion and I can state my opinion. And I said, okay, you're right, but I just think you could have gone about it better. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, you could have hit me in my inbox. Well, why would I do that? I'm a real person. If I see something, I call it like I see it. And I was like, that's fine. You're more than able to do that. I said, I haven't erased any of your comments. They're all staying up. I'm not blocking you or anything like that. And I said, here's the difference between constructive criticism, trolling, and just being negative. I said, you don't have to like the product. That's fine. In fact, you can tell everyone you don't like the product. But one thing I would never do to you, I would never walk into your company. Let's say you're a restaurant. I would never walk into your restaurant, order your sample platter, taste it, tell you that it's shit in front of all of your customers, and tell them they should go somewhere else across the street. I would never do that. I would take the manager to the side and say, listen, my meal was not very good. I didn't like it. Here's what I didn't like about it. And as a customer, I have the right to do that. And I said, that's if we're being constructive about it, that's the way you would do that.
You are
not
too nice, bro. I love that. You are too nice. You're such a sweetheart.
I said,
you got time for this? Whoo, shit. Okay. Woo.
Yeah. And so, I just told him, I was like, doing it in front of my entire roster, there's nothing really constructive about that. And I said, I apologize for the way everybody's jumping on you, but what did you expect?
That is not constructive criticism coming from him. Yeah, shit.
Funny story about that now. Now that we're 2 episodes in and 1 pay-per-view. We did the first big pay-per-view, sort of like an all-in type of feel.
Cool.
2 episodes. And the next episode comes out tomorrow on Monday. He invited me to his community. And he said, he even posted on our page, now about a month or 2 later.
Yeah.
He posted, the same dude posted on our page now, we're very impressed with NAW. And we like to say, we like the things that you guys are doing. We don't like these characters, and they listed off, obviously, Cody Omega and Evan Jones, the 2 guys that jumped on them the hardest. But he says, the way he put it, which makes me think that maybe he was just testing us. And he said, to me personally, I was very cordial, and there wasn't one answer that I gave him that was not satisfactory. And he invited us to his little community and his amino and everything like that. And he said, we're very impressed with what you guys are doing. We don't like these characters, but maybe that's just because they're heel. Maybe we just don't like the characters.
He want like 20 John Cena's, man? He want 20 John Cena's and good guys?
They were compared to some people. I won't go into detail. But no, I was just so, like, on a personal level, to see that we changed somebody's opinion.
That's good.
It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And not only that, but just from person to person, for him to, I guess, I don't know, how do I put it? For him to accept sort of my standpoint and me accepting his, and for her to come back later and be like, you know what, dude? Yeah, no, you were right. This
can't
cool.
win them all. You can't please everyone. But if you just give it a try, guys, that's the thing. It's like people gotta learn how to. There's other alternatives out there. There's other stuff. You just gotta give certain shows a try. I gotta admit, Caw is not really easy to the eye, at all. You can't. It's a totally different mindset when you watch something like, especially gaming. Like, I can watch. All right, so. This is where I'm gonna get this is gonna be a deep conversation. I'm surprised we're even talking for an hour right now, but it's pretty deep. It's a good conversation. All right, so one thing I learned about Ka, so I hate calling it that, whatever, but so XVPW is part of the Ka community, but I don't think of XVPW as a Ka. Yes, we are creative wrestlers. Yes, we do play our own stuff, but I think I'm trying to branch out, or I'm trying to take my mindset out of that, because if I'm saying this is Ka, then I'm only reaching out to the Ka community and not other people. I think of XVPW as a YouTube show, a content create, like we're content creators, right? Me and you, we have this really professional mindset. Like we are in production, we are directors, we are writers, and etc. And we love wrestling. These are basically the four main things. Then we love video games. All right, cool. So this is what the foundation of that is, right? But the fact that we're on YouTube now, we want to reach out to for me personally, I'm trying to reach out to not the wrestling community. I'm not trying to reach out to the 2K community, because the 2K, no lie, the 2K community is freaking small as hell. And if you look at the algorithms or stuff that 2K, that people are watching UT, is basically, top 20 best super kicks in the game, or different variations of Daniel Bryan's that you want to see. There's this really amazing show that I watched, and this guy makes his own storylines using WWE wrestlers, or like the most famous one is Undertaker's son, and he's hired in WWE. You saw that one, right? And the way he does it,
see that.
like this, I'm impressed, and I'm wondering, like, why does this guy have 3,033 subscribers and 5,000 views or 1 million? I'm like, how can I do that? That's literally XVPW's competition right there. XVPW's competition is not the cautious, it's how can I match this guy's thing. So I'm trying to do shit out. So I'm trying to reach out not only to 2K audience, wrestling audience, I'm trying to reach out to the casuals and people who never seen a wrestling or that's like my mindset. Yeah, the Ka community like watches some of our stuff, but I'm also trying to reach out to people who is not in Ka. And I did a test. I showed this shit to my friends. I'm like, this is fucking amazing, Max. Like, what is this? I'm like, and if the fact that you can watch, like, I remember I played this shit in a Secret Santa, and we're watching our last episode, which was Money Shot for the season. And I'm watching it. Everybody's quiet as fuck, and they're just staring at this shit. They're laughing, which is the one I wanted to get out of it. They're silent, which is number 2. And the way they're like jump up and down when Rocky is like kicking out and DYNZ's kicking out the main event, and they're like, that's the shit that I want. And they never seen our fucking show. No matter how many times I posted it on freaking Facebook, spam that shit, they're like, yo, this is what I've been missing out on all the time. I'm like, yeah, fuck, subscribe, you bitch. Yeah. And like, yeah, you got it, man. You got it. Like, so that's the stuff that makes me happy. Like, people who's not into my shit, the people who doesn't support my shit till later on, like, okay, that's something. Now my goal, and this is where, is to have a table at an indie wrestling show and promoting my shit right there. That's where me taking it up a notch now. Like, okay, that's like cause I can see you. You're freaking passionate. I'm passionate. And just to get that is like that extra notch, that extra like 10%. And for the people who say that, oh, I don't know why you're doing this, I don't know why you're taking it so seriously, blah blah. I'm like,
yeah.
and I can see it because I know that you have that mindset of like you're writing. Like, if people can have that same mindset you do, you have a fucking successful show. And I can tell that, like, you like my mindset of like you write, you do this. But imagine the people who did not, like, oh, I just joined in, and next thing you know, I'm not giving them my 10%. I'm just here to cut promos and shit. Like, I'm like,
yeah,
that's just why.
Yeah.
Or like the other one of like, hey, can I join New Era? Next thing you know, you don't ghost on Facebook, you don't respond to my messages. Next thing I'm putting up the show. You hired me. I thought you signed me, and I'm like, shit. Like, If you want,
Yeah.
like, I treat this shit as is like this is my own freaking real federation. Like, I work with 4 different wrestling and 4 wrestling federations, so I watch enough documentaries from Paul Heyman and the network to realize that I'm not gonna say mistakes as they do. Like, oh, but you're taking shit too seriously. Like, bitch, you wanted to sign up at my fed for a reason, right? Right? You get that, right? It's
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely. There's like, and I 100% agree with you. And honestly, I think that's where e-fetting is moving. Exactly. At least the successful ones. And I think some of the lower tier e-feds that just try to stick to the CAW community, they're going to have to step their game up, and they're going to have to adapt, because what you're saying, the successful e-feds, that's where they're all moving towards. And I've seen so many e-feds where you've got these guys in a CAW federation, basically, and they don't even own a PlayStation. They don't even own a PlayStation. They don't even create their own call. That's how far it's going. These are casual guys who are barely even wrestling fans, but they like what we do.
Yeah.
And so they're like, you know what, I want a part of this. And all I got to do is talk in front of a camera and try to build this character. Yeah, I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that. I could drop likes and comments and whatnot. I could share the show. Yeah, I could do that. And so that's where we are at this point. And I 100% agree with you, because I feel like I'm a jack of all trades. I'm not a master of any art, but I'm decent at a couple of my hobbies. And I feel like there's a difference between having a hobby, something you do for fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then committing to that hobby. Like, anybody can
definitely.
say, oh, well, you play. Do you play basketball? Yeah. Well, when do you play? Oh, I don't know, once a month. Okay, so you like playing basketball, but you don't really play basketball.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's like, oh, so you e-fit? Yeah, I do. So you run your own e-fit? Yeah, of course, yeah. So how often do you do shows? Well, yeah, I have seasons. I have, episode to episode. I have long-running story arcs and everything like that. You're taking it too serious. No. I'm committing to the thing that I said that I like doing.
Yeah.
And for it to be good, you can't just show up and wing it. Like, there's got to be a little bit of production. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do your homework. Not all of it is fun. Like, don't get me wrong, the finished product. What person isn't proud of their finished product?
Exactly.
But to get to that finished product, 13 hours of video editing and trimming and cutting and piecing
don't even get me started on freaking matches. Shit, to think of the spots.
Yeah, my God. The recording, the spots. Yes.
Yo,
spots.
I mastered the 2 controllers, man. I mastered that. Like, hit L2 at the same time while holding your first controller. And I'm like, yo, like, my fingers are like, yo, my girl's happy, man. That's saying. Yo,
I definitely do that too at sometimes.
Especially like, mastering the highlight reel and getting your angles right and just learning the physics of, like, I'm doing this thing now. Well, shit, you can probably buy it off me, and I'm gonna say it right now, of creating moves. Yo, example. You guys are gonna see in probably the new episode of One Night Delight. So, okay, I'm learning how to do the Shiranui, right? All right, so you do the standing Shiranui, but then you want to hit the Shiranui in the turnbuckle where the guy is climbing up, but you don't want to put them in the corner. So what you do is you do the Shiranui, the standing Shiranui grapple while you're near the corner, but then you're gonna cut up to the highlight reel in a different position where it looks like he's climbing up to do it, and people's gonna understand that. Or learning how to do, creating a move of the trip. Like, you probably seeing it in Money Shot where the Ryan Z is facing Rocky Patel, and I created a move where you do the triple German suplex, but on the 3rd German suplex he does the ripcord into the Rainmaker, and they're like, how did you do that? Or like the opening scene of like Money Shot, which is the Wolf King versus Captain Marvelous, and he started doing, like, the minute the bell ring, he does the shotgun drop kick, but he's running towards him. He didn't put him in the grapple. on the corner.
Yeah.
Like, it's those little things that like make your show better than it really was. Besides, you're not doing the work, the highlight reel. You just like it's like I made a meme about it. It's if your car show just shows the sub hub and you didn't even work on your camera angle, like what why are you even sending me this? Like take it, like change it, man. Like certain shows now are using that highlight reel. I remember a person commented saying, "Oh, highlight reel's overrated," and I'm like, "No, the fuck it isn't." No. or like there's shows that already did highlight reel. I don't see what's so impressive about XVPW, and I'm like, "Oh, but now I see fucking Ryan Paul Jones' El Dorado Championship Wrestling finally doing highlight reels, and I've been doing it like." You could tell people up there they're learning their shit, man. It's like that's why I watch.
You have to step it up.
Yeah, man. What makes your show different, man? Like I've been YouTubing, or people who don't know me, I've been YouTubing for 10 years. I have another channel called Four Eyes, and I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh guy. I was very into the scene, so I literally stopped my own channel just to do this fucking XVPW shit, man. I was literally close to 1,000 fucking subscribers, man. And I was fresh. I was 1 year in, man. And I was shooting for 1,000 subs. I went to different communities and shit like that, and I was getting buzz. But then ever since I did this whole XVPW thing, I was like, okay, I'm back to square one. Sure. So I gotta say, like, I'm very proud of myself that within my short time in CAW, I was able to get 428 subscribers. Yeah, I was proud of that.
That's insane.
In 2 years, like it's really hard in this fucking community. Yeah, it's really hard to get fucking 428 subscribers, and it's sad that I've seen people or know people who've been doing it longer than me, and they're still stuck at 400 in their fucking subscribers. I'm gonna help you because you're my boy. I don't know how many subscribers you got now, but we're gonna break that shit. We're gonna help each other.
I got like 30 subscribers.
We're gonna reach.
I appreciate all the help I can get.
No, man. See. The minute you get that 100 subscriber mark, you're gonna change your URL to not numbers no more. It's gonna be New Era Wrestling. YouTube/New Era Wrestling.
Oh, that would be so sick, man.
Yeah, that was the goal for like season 1 SCPW. Yo, we gotta break 100 subs, and I think after season 1, we got within one and a half month in, we broke 230 something. Yeah, 233 something.
That is crazy.
In a CAW community, that's fucking like ridiculous, man.
That is impressive as hell, dude.
But yeah, man, what's your goal, bro? We're like 1 hour and 22 minutes in, so we're gonna do this in we're gonna end this at like 1 hour and 30 something.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, we got.
You know what that means though? That just means you'll have to have me back at some point.
Oh yeah, man. The minute you break that 100, I'm gonna bring you back in, man. But yeah, man, like. Any questions you want to ask me? Shit, fuck it. That's where the turning point. So yeah, man, you can ask me any questions and shit.
I would love to pick your brain. Let's see.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Okay. Okay. Give me top 3 if you could put together for your show. Like, let's say you're promoting a real big ass show, and some millionaire Ted Turner says, "Bro, I gave you the money."
Oh, damn, the Tony Khan shit. Okay.
Yeah. So what's your double main event? You can have any wrestlers, dead or alive. What's your double main event? 2 matches for the double main event.
Oh shit. Okay, double main event. Good shit. All right. Good question is, I don't believe in a double main event. I believe there's one main event.
Okay.
I'm very old fashioned. If you see XVPW, I'm always gonna have the main championship at the main event. No matter what. I don't give a fuck. I'm very old school like that. Like, I think of these shits as like, yo, I'm gonna bring back the rematch clause and all that shit. Because I love, like, that's makes the thing, like, so yeah. Main event is gonna be Okada versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh. Okay.
Title for title.
Okay.
Title for title. IWGP.
Okay.
And the Universal Championship. That's hot, right?
Wow. Okay. That is very hot. I like that.
Yeah. That's the
not bad.
That's the one. And what you call it? Yeah, that's the winner right there. IWGP title for title.
That's a good ass pick, man. And to piggyback off what you were saying, I used to be of the exact same opinion of you until one match happened, and then it changed my perspective on the main event thing. Like, I don't believe in constant, like WWE constantly has, because they have the 2 world titles. They think double main event. I don't believe in that, but I do believe in a few occasions. I do believe in the double main event, only for one reason.
Undertaker
it's
streak?
Because not even that, actually. That's another great example. But no, for me, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, see, there's a thing now.
They completely overshadowed Jericho and Triple H. That match was good, but not at all remembered because of The Rock and Hulk Hogan.
See, but that's the thing, though. See, I feel like WWE can get away with that type of things because they have a stacked ass roster, also including Hall of Famers and shit like that. So it's always gonna be that, you know. That's where for me it's like I'm gonna change all that in my Fed and then be like, yo, it's always gonna be the title at the end of the stream because that title is the face of your company. It's not the wrestler. That's what people are there for to see, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's where I feel like there's no face of my company. That belt is the reason why people are here to watch. And whoever's holding it that's the reason why that's that, you know. Yeah, you can have Hall of Famers and all that shit, and I'll put that before the belt, but it's always going to be that. You know, I'm never going to say...
I could definitely understand that.
Yeah. Like, you're never going to hear me say double main event in XVPW at all. There's only one main event, and that's the main. That's why, and also in my shows, like, the finisher is always going to be the finish. You know, nobody... Like, all the good shit's going to happen in the pay-per-view. Like, kicking out of a finisher probably one time, or person, like, not tapping out on their finisher. But the finisher is always going to be the finisher. I'm not going to have 5 finishers and all that shit. Like, nah. I feel like... Like, that's like, you know how people always complain or, like, you're contradicting yourself and shit like that or whatever? Like, I feel like that's my philosophy and that's my logic and that's what I grew up on, you know? Like, a good example, another one, is the super kick. Shit, if you're signed in my show and whatnot, if you're in my show and your finisher is the freaking super kick, I'm gonna make sure that nobody in my show does the super kick. And if you're gonna have the super kick, you're gonna have the sweet chin music, you're gonna have the other super kick, you're gonna have the super kick on the freaking third rope, you're gonna have that. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, see? And that's me protecting my asset.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
Super
or like the logic, the logic of the. All right, so a good example, the Ryan Z, amazing fucking good character. All he does is freaking suplexes. All he does is suplexes and whatnot. But guess what his finisher is? It's a freaking striking move, the fucking lariat, the Rainmaker. You know. So guess what he does not do? Clotheslines.
Yeah.
As a striking move. Sense. You know? So imagine a character who's all he does is suplexes, Brock Lesnar, but all he does is suplexes. That's what he's majored in. That's what he's good at. So of course I'm gonna give him all the freaking suplexes in the world and whatnot. But to have a striking move as your finisher, that's a freaking scary thought. It's like my man can,
absolutely.
you know, it's like that logic, and that's protecting your character. So of course his finisher is a lariat, but his finisher is also a ripcord lariat. But guess what? I'm gonna give him that Baron Corbin clothesline from the misdirection. What else am I gonna give him? The freaking Dean Ambrose second rope bow to make it look like my man can look like he can hit this anywhere. This is what I'm talking about for you people who's listening right now. Maybe you're probably listening. Like, this is the mindset that I expect from you, because, you know, you're basically not changing the game, but more of add that logic into like, you know, to make it seem like this shit has never been done before in CAW. Or when you watch, you don't want to go watching a CAW show and think that, all right, so this is where it gets from league to EFED. This is where I get confused. That's why XVPW is in a totally different environment. I don't want to go into your show thinking there's two people playing your two people in the controllers, like playing this shit. I don't want to go into that show looking at, because I could watch that anywhere else. You know, I can do that in my friend's house. We're watching, but nobody plays 2K. I'd rather play Street Fighter if I was a fucking fighting game, or Smash Brothers and shit like that. I don't want to go in watching and shit thinking that there's two people playing. I want to go there thinking, holy crap, this is better than WWE. Or holy crap, this is better than AEW.
Yes.
You know?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. Alright, carry on. You can ask me another question. Pick my brain, bro.
Okay, I'll ask you one more question. One more question, because I will admit it's kind of a loaded question, but it just popped up into my head based off something you said. And if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to.
No, I'll answer
because
it.
I realize the weight of this question.
I'll answer it.
Okay, so you said in your main event, and this is sort of an issue in the wrestling world right now, many different opinions about it, and so I'll ask you. You say the world title, that's the main event no matter what. That's the main title. That's it. That's always going to close the show. So my question would be is, does that mean we would never see a women's championship match in the main event?
Ah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It's a tough question.
Now,
and I don't know how I would answer it.
Good one. All right, so if we ever do women play CAW? I don't know, man.
Hardly ever. Seriously.
Exactly. Like, I would love to. I would 100%. But then I'm like, will 2K finally have intergender wrestling?
Yeah.
See, now I'm like, damn, like, will 2K allow that? I don't know. Because I'm working off that engine.
Yeah, of course. You can only do what the game allows you to do.
Yeah, I can only go so far, man. I'm already creating moves, and there's no creator move thing, and I have to deal with glitches and shit. But
oh my god, yes.
To answer that, it's called the XVPW Championship for a reason. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
It's not women's and not men's. It's the XVPW Championship. I would love to have a tag team. What? That's one thing you'll probably never see in XVPW, and I have to create a story about that. I was like, how come there's no tag teams in XVPW? One, because nobody does not get along ever in our roster. I had to find my way out of that. I had to create championships. I created the Money Shot Championship. The Money Shot, it's so funny to me, which is basically Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
That you cash in. It's a belt. I always wanted I love the concept of the Money in the Bank, but I hated the briefcase. But now I made the belt out of it. Now I created the XVPW Network Championship because I never understood the meaning of a television championship. I didn't want to call it the Internet Championship because what, you represent the Internet? What the fuck? Social media. Social media sounds stupid. Social media championship. I can only do that if I made a Facebook CAW show and whatnot. So I call it the network because our YouTube is the XVPW Network Championship, and that belt is basically defended in every show.
Yeah.
So that's basically, so you must defend that belt in every show, and that's a really prestigious belt. And in my concept, I don't believe, even though the XVPW Championship is the main championship belt, I don't believe in tiers. That's something that I didn't like. I mean, yeah, there's the mid-tier belt. And what do you think of mid-tier? You think of Intercontinental. You think of Television Championship. You think of United States or North American Championship. I didn't like that category. So I always want to think that each belt is prestigious in its own way. And yeah, that's the way I thought about it. But if you're representing the company, you're representing for that belt, then that's the XVPW. That's the number one slot. That's why I call it the face of our company. That's our championship belt. That's why it's always going to be in the main event. But now to have a belt defended on every show, that's also prestigious. That's why you're representing the network. Which is the XVP. That's why I call the YouTube channel the XVPW Network. You know. But yeah, I would love to have a fucking tag team. But to master two controllers at the same time is just, whoo.
Yeah,
that's a tough.
No, it's definitely a nightmare.
Yeah, man. But yeah, if we ever do have a women, I would love to have a women's division, but there's no women in CAW. And think about it, the way I run my show, shit. I'm surprised I had one woman in my show, which is Athene, the queen of the movement, but she's not a freaking wrestler. You know, but she was down for it. I'm pretty sure that's all. I don't know. In CAW history, was there ever, besides creating? Maybe I'll create and I'll just wear a freaking wig or something. I don't know.
If you did that, that would be hilarious. Oh my god,
yeah,
that would be awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. This is a really good show, bro. We're 1 minute and 36 in. What is your goal? What's the bread and butter? What do you get out of this? You know, what do you get out of new? What's your yearly plan? Like, you know, I'm gonna talk your brain now. Like, what's the 6-year goal? What's the 3-year goal? What's the 3-month goal?
Well, okay. I'd say the 3-month goal right now is just, I just want to put out the best shows possible, entertaining content, fun storylines, just stuff that's unique that you can't get other places. That's really sort of and to have fun with it, really. Because I've been in creative in other places and just where you're sitting there and there at times it's not even fun anymore because it's like there's all this stress and everyone's got this demand and I'm not going to lose again this week, or you know, I want a challenge for that championship, or I want that guy in a match next week. It's like, well, dude, I've already recorded the show for next week. What do you want me to, like, I can't just
you ever get one of those?
Put that in.
You ever get one of those, like, oh, sign me, or you're signed. So when do I get the championship belt? What the fuck?
Oh my, yes.
What?
Yes, everybody.
Excuse you?
Everybody.
The disrespect.
Seriously, like, there's like 60 guys on the roster. I just signed you. You're supposed to be the world champ already.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I just want to, first and foremost, my goals are to be different and to be able to offer something that you don't normally get, and to have fun and produce interesting content. And now I know that's not always gonna please everybody. Like you said, you can't please all the people all the time, and all those people were at my show last night. Like, but it's just to give something different. Like, that was the whole reason I started New, is because I was in these other eFeds and I just noticed there was things that they weren't doing that sort of bothered me. Not like to a point where like I was upset about it, but it was just like, but why aren't you doing this? And I would bring it up. Perfect example, just because I have a lot of radical ideas in New. One of which, I am one of the very few E-Feds, and I've been warned about doing this. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can't do that. You're promoting other people.
Shit,
like,
fuck it. Do it.
Yeah, it's like,
don't tell me what to do.
Care.
Don't tell me what to do.
Seriously, like, why? Like, what? Like, you act like there's only like 5 slots in the internet for us to all fit into, and if I promote them, they might take my slot. There's enough room for everybody to operate here. So why not? And that is in new. And I said this from the first day. We acknowledge, to a certain extent, whatever's possible, obviously, we acknowledge continuity from other E-Feds. And the reason I started doing that is because I've seen guys come in, these guys that have been in E-Fedding for like 3 years. They've won every championship under the moon, tag team, world championship, intercontinental, North American, and now they come into this new company and they're green all of a sudden because that company doesn't want to mention these other 2 companies that they've just been killing it in for 3 years, which made them note. I think that's an oxymoron in itself. I see you doing something great in your E-Fed, so I want you in mine.
Yeah,
so
you don't want that Kenny Omega. I don't want the AEW Kenny Omega. I want the New Japan Kenny Omega.
Yes, you like their body of work, and you say, hey, I want you to come work for us. And then they come over, and then you say, oh, okay, well, I don't mention those companies, so everything you've ever accomplished is
I don't give a fuck.
0.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, it's like you start at 0 again.
I had a guy who I signed. All right, so if people don't know, XVPW has 2 shows, right? There's Best Effin' Show, which is the show that's in seasons, and there's One Night Delight. All right. The reason why I created 2 shows is because if you know how XVPW works, I take a break after a season, man. I'm sorry. I'm a one-man team, so filming, writing, boom. I already wrote it. Sorry, you're not in this season. But guess what? If people who don't know, it takes a year plus to film and get everything right before I go into post-production and whatnot. People who don't know what post-production is, it's basically right after you get into production, which is filming, you gotta fucking edit. And after editing, I do the matches. Boom. Just so people can look like their parts. Because Lord knows, if you don't look like your fucking car, we're fucking reshooting. And guess what? I got a post-production again. So, now there's people who want to join right after they seen everything. And I'm like, sorry, man, you gotta wait. That's why there's One Night Delight, which is, it's just a 1 match, 1 show. The show's only probably 20 minutes and whatnot. But guess what? You're in the network. You're signed. I don't want to call it developmental, but it's a mixture of developmental / Velocity / Sunday Night Heat / Ring of Honor / NJPW style match. Because you're developmental, because if I saw some potential you, or 2, you're really amazing, I want you in my show already, and boom. So we signed this guy named Trey Jeter, right? And next thing you know, this guy is cool. We're down to earth. We're cool. But he mentioned this to me. He's like, yo, so one of my boys, right? He's like, yo, don't sign with XVPW, yo. They're gonna job you, yo. Like, and I'm like, what? Why would I job somebody and whatnot? that's whack. I would never. Or like, yo, they're just not gonna book you right. And I'm like, you don't know that. Like, I don't do that. I talk shit about other feds because that's the kayfabe of my show. But if you're signed with me, then, or if I personally ask you to come join my show, there's a reason why I wanted you. Not because, 1, I'm going to job you. 2, because you're cool, you're down to earth. I see potential. Or if I want to be 100% real, the reason why I want to sign Rob Romaine, because I did not know this guy till now. He could probably take credit for it right now. He could probably back me up in this. This is the first time we're actually fucking talking and having conversation. Yep. So now I really want to sign this guy. I potentially wanted to sign Rob Romaine, 1, because I saw a promo. He has a really amazing look. Boom. And hopefully maybe he talks shit about my show, I talk shit about his show, and boom, we can start a rivalry of like, okay, hey, my show's fucking better. Fuck new, old ass shit.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
You know? But yeah, like, I know people, and I think certain shows get certain bad reps because people, you don't want to have a 70-man roster and you're only showcasing 10 of your guys every fucking show. I know a lot of shows that does that, and to be honest, I hear a lot about it. That's not fucking cool. And you know why? And I don't want to say it's 50-50, but it's 50-51 because you signed with them, but you know how they fucking work. Or two, look at the fucking group and see why is there a 70-man roster and you're only showcasing the same 10 guys every fucking time. And you don't want to go into another show and like, damn, they signed the same people, but also it's the same 10 fucking guys. You know?
Yeah.
Like, at least if you watch XVPW, it's a small roster and you're going to see the same 10 guys and it's a 10-man roster. Now, if I signed you, then yeah, you will be shown. I make sure everybody gets fucking TV time. You know, you gotta think about it.
Yeah.
You can't do a car show and just do a car. No, you gotta get into your production mentality of like, okay, now if you're complaining about WWE, but you're doing the same exact shit in your fucking show, stop it.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. I mean,
exactly.
Your show needs diversity. You got to mix it up, and I think any successful EFED has to do that. Now, if you can't handle the size of your roster, I mean, there are things you can do.
Stop signing fucking people like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You could either stop signing people, or you hire on. If you want to expand, you make another show. That's great. You could do that too. I mean, we have Raw, NXT, SmackDown, NXT UK. Making another show is not, you know.
The only way you're gonna sign more people is if you drop out the last. That's why I do. Like, after the season, I'm dropping 3 people, and I'm gonna bring 3 people in. So it's the same fucking amount. XP only has I believe XP only has like fucking 15 people. And now there's come to the point where like, damn, I need fucking guys. I need guys who can fucking work and take losses and not bitch. Like, oh I gotta lose. So I'm like, yeah, but I'm still making you look fucking strong anyway. So what is the fucking...
Yeah. I mean, I hate those conversations.
Right,
it's like, so I saw the show. I lost last night. It's
like,
like, yes. But it's like, yes, but can you think about this as further than just last night? We got a 4-week plan until the pay-per-view. You're winning the title at the pay-per-view. I can't make this guy eat shit for 3 weeks in a row and then have you win the title.
I'm the fucking creator. I'm the fucking creator of this damn thing, and I booked myself to lose. I had a losing streak. I'm the fucking creator of my fucking show, and I'm the one putting people over. That's how much I love my fucking show.
Yeah.
Like, I'm putting you over, bro. Like, don't complain to me.
I wasn't even on our first big show. I made an appearance, but I wasn't even on it.
Oh, chill, bro. What the fuck? That's whack. Then again, I wasn't on the first episode of my show too, so it's okay.
Yeah, like, you want to put other people on, you know. And our first, like, the big premiere of our weekly show, I lost. I lost.
That's
as the creator, the CEO, the owner, and in character, I'm also the owner of this Fed, and so I lost clean, middle of the ring, and everybody asked me, how could you put that dude over? It's like, dude, first of all, he deserved it. Second of all, if I don't do that, look at Cody Rhodes. If him and the Bucks and Kenny just went and railroaded and just wrecking ball themselves through everybody, how much respect would you have for AEW?
Oh, I would get a ton. I would get some respect. You're like, damn right, because you're the fucking Nah, I don't care about Kenny Bucks, but Kenny. Oh, Kenny. Poor Kenny.
You're right. Kenny is a disappointment.
I would give him the fucking championship. I would have had Kenny. Yes. No, I would have Chris Jericho, yes, but Kenny versus Jericho for the title, yeah, even better.
Yeah, And I would put Kenny over for that.
At least they could show him why people bragged about why he was the IWGP or what was he like Wrestler of the Year too? It was Okada, then Kenny, or Kenny or Okada. I don't know.
Oh my goodness, his New Japan work was off the charts, man.
He was just
phenomenal.
He was villain anime guy. That's all he was to me. He was villain anime guy.
Yeah, but his matches were so good. And now it's like he's doing like this very commercial, watered down
I don't know
to everybody.
His V trigger is not even the same V trigger, man. That's his AEW V trigger is stupid. It doesn't look even that impactful. Shit.
Definitely disappointing. Definitely.
I'm looking at his V trigger like his V trigger is whack. What is that? And that's my freaking finisher.
Yeah.
My finisher is the freaking limit breaker. I have two finishers actually in my game. I have the change of heart, which is basically a stunner, but it's either the Eclipse, the Slumdog Millionaire, and Lord knows if the come up comes in the next patch. Shit, I'm taking that, and the regular stunner. That's like my signature. And I have the knee, which is the knee from the corner, the limit breaker. But in the Kamagoye, which is another limit breaker.
Nice.
Yeah. What's your finisher? Super kick? I feel like yours is a super kick.
No, absolutely not. I've said it and I meant it. In e-fetting and in real wrestling, the super kick has become an epidemic. I've
not an
never been a fan of the
XVPW.
super kick party.
Nobody does super kicks in XVPW.
It's too much. It started off cool. I personally blame the Usos and Dolph Ziggler. They put super kicking too much in their matches. No, my finisher, I have the straight jacket DDT.
Which sexy move.
And the messed up thing about that is it doesn't look like a dirty deeds. You take the arms, you cross them like an X, and then you spike the
it's
guy.
not a dirty deeds. What the fuck? No, it's not a dirty deeds.
It's not a dirty deeds.
No.
But people, ever since the rise of Moxley and Dean Ambrose, everyone compares it to that. So I'm thinking of changing it. Oh, cool, you got a DDT and you're like an anarchic character. And no, dude, that's not what I was going for. I really like the hat trick German suplexes. I was a Chris Benoit fan, so I always love that. That and the Three Amigos. Those are signatures.
The continuous suplexes. Yeah.
Yeah, and the finisher, I was using before I got into e-fetting, like for real, and got serious about it. I was using the Crossroads just because.
Oh no.
At that time, Cody was still Stardust, and it wasn't that over. So I thought, oh, I'm safe. And then he left the company, and it became like the most known move on the indie scene is this Crossroads. So I had to change it. And I ended up starting using the Stunner, which I'm still thinking about changing it. I don't know.
You're one of those that like change their finishers or moves every time, right? You're like, yo, you know how many times I change my guys' moves? Not finishers. But my guys moves, like, I gotta make it look like this guy can work. Like, that's what I do too.
Yeah,
like the way I pick moves, I look at people's personality. Like, do you really do that though? Like,
yeah.
That's another thing people gotta understand. Like, does your character look like they do these? Especially the way you're portraying yourself. I got a guy named Osama the Bama in my Fed. Does not know how to fucking wrestle for the sake of his fucking life. But you see growth in each freaking season and episode. Now he starts doing DDTs and those and like shit like that, like dives and like his moves looks messy and not clean. Like a scoop slam or like a punch here and there. You gotta make it look believable. So when you do a claw, make shit make sense. You gotta make shit look like they make like have some common sense or make your show have sense. You just can't just drop shit. Like, why does every guy have to have fucking pyro? I don't understand that. Why does every car have to have fucking pyro? And why does that car have this the crazy pyro too? Like, okay, so
like the full blown showering and exploding.
Yeah, like does every character, especially when they're about to cut a promo, just a promo? Like, no, you don't need You don't need freaking. oh, I don't get that. So that's why I made it in my show like, oh, D. Ryan Z is the only guy who's gonna get promo. Why? Because he's a freaking 20. Henderson wasted the whole entire company budget on that. So guess what? He had Pyro for one fucking episode, and I was like, oh, there goes the company's budget. And I made sure I said in Cairo, well, there goes the company's budget.
You know what's funny? I actually adopted that. I sort of bit that off of you a little bit because I mentioned that on commentary from time to time, like. When I did the first big show and I had these two world champions from other companies facing each other, I said it immediately in commentary. I said, you want to know why we're in a small bingo hall instead of a stadium? Because we blew the whole budget on seeing these two guys fight right here tonight. And as far as Pyro goes, I think I maybe have 2 or 3 guys who have Pyro on the show.
Yeah.
And it adds to the character. It adds to their character.
Exactly. If you're gonna do Pyro, do it for the last freaking episode, you know? Or like this whole change of outfits and shit. Like if you're gonna have 2 guys who are very well known, of course they're gonna change their fucking outfit. Or, you know, don't go in with a fucking t-shirt and shit like that. Make sure, you know, have fucking this is common sense, or I don't know. Like, and that's when people say, "Oh, but you're taking it too far." It's a fucking no, bitch. Stop fucking watching my freaking show. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. The devil is in the details, and if it's the small things that take it that much further. Yeah. And so I believe in as far as wrestling and ring attire, I believe on keeping it pretty solid and
simple,
keeping up with it's simple and staying with, you know, the continuity. If you want to change it up for a pay-per-view, sure, I'm okay with that. But
especially
then for
another
the next 4
one
weeks,
too, when it comes,
that's your attire.
Yeah, especially in moves and whatnot. And I adopted this from a lot of freaking spots. And AEW is most definitely known for this. Is why does everybody have to do a fucking dive? And why does everybody have to do their same moves? Like, my man, I remember watching one car show. My man there's a guy in this car show who does the GTS. I'm like, okay, that's this guy's finisher. I go in the next match. What do I see? A regular GTS. And my man kicked out of that too. They need another GT, and the following day, oh look, okay. So I'm accepting the fact that the suicide dive is everybody does a suicide dive. Like, all right, you know, don't have people do each other's moves. People in my show, 3 moves. You have 3 fucking moves. You know, 4 moves if I go on time. That's one thing I do too. I make sure there's time in these matches. A regular match in XVPW is probably 5 minutes. If it's a pay-per-view, if you're not the main event's probably 20 minutes. Because I'm going to do, it takes me a fucking month to do a call. Like that last match in Money Shot took me at least 3 weeks to do. I had to get each spot freaking right. And you know what sucks about 2K? Oh, this little glitch in the Hammerstein Ballroom where this side has an audience, but when you turn to the right on highlight reel, this side is gone. I'm like, oh, this is good, not 2K.
I completely agree with you.
I
did a battle royal. Like I did a battle royal that I had to change. I had to change it. It was started out as a 30-man because I'm on 2K20. God forbid, I'm on 2K20.
Yeah.
I did a 30-man battle royal, and the whole thing is I called it the Big Deal Battle Royal, right? The winner of this is the Big Deal of NEW.
That's dope.
I shot this thing like 12 times, and it crashed every single time.
You got that error CES 23210.
Yes, it crashed every time at about entry number 15. And so I'm like, so I cut it down to 20. And it crashed every single time. I shot this one match for like, I think almost 4 solid weeks up until the pay-per-view. It was the last match I had finished, which is ironic because it's the first match on the card. It opens the show. I had to eventually cut it down the big deal battle royal, mind you, is what it's called. I had to cut it down to 10 guys.
People, 10 guys.
So that it would work. And the way I shot it, it still works because every single guy, there's no fodder in it. Every single guy is like a known name. Either it's a role player or it's a second call of a role player. And so they're all in this one match. And so it still worked. It's like, well, it's only 10 guys, but it's a big deal. It's only the big deals in this match. And so that's how I sold it. But I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, just getting the spots right. I did this one match. You gotta get the spots right now. Yeah. I feel like that's where it stands out when you do this highlight reel. Yes.
If you do highlight reel in your show, if you're listening to this right now, show me your freaking show. Show me your show. Because highlight reel is where it really counts, man. That's why I think 2K is the perfect engine for creating. Not for playing, just creating. It shows how big deal you really are in this freaking thing, in this freaking community.
Dude. The only limit there is your imagination, and I agree with you. The highlight reel is essential. It pushes the story further.
Yeah.
And it allows you to do certain things you can't do just in game. And so I had this match with our boy Zulite.
Big shout out to my homie.
Yes, Zulite the Great, who is right now at this moment top 3 in my EFED.
And it was funny. People bash. I'm looking at your group and I'm like, people really buying into this? Because he's like a character right now. Like, are really people buying into him, or 2, they're playing themselves? Because Zulite's really good at, and his mentality for, because he used to be, I believe he is a backyard wrestler. Cause I remember when I did his fucking Titantron, I'm like, bro.
Oh my god. Yes, me too. He sent me a couple clips on YouTube.
Him. I'm like, dude, you're backyard. Yeah. Is that your kid running in the middle of the fucking backyard? Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have that in his Titantron too. Him getting put through a flaming table. I was like, yeah, I'm using that for your Titantron, just so you know.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. It's like, but he has a good mindset. He has a good mindset. I have nothing but respect for him, and he has a lot of love for XVPW. And I think he did ask me. I don't know. They're like, hey, I'm joining this other feds. Is it cool? I'm like, yeah, man, go for it. And I told him, yo, go for it. As long as they treat you right and shit like that. Technically, I don't care, because these other I don't know what fed are you going to join, but have fun. You'll see how toxic the community is, how whack. 80% of these feds are, you can call me this, they're fucking whack. I'm sorry. But the other 20, they're really good. And depending on which one you join to. It's
absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of them is literally carbon copy. I'm a creative fed.
You're right.
And press share.
Some of them don't even do commentary. Or they run just like Twitch. Like they leave the Michael Cole commentary on. You're like, what are you doing? Like, am I watching WWE with Michael Cole and his, he's putting those educated feet to good work. And it's like, oh god.
I remember, not to bash on El Dorado, but I remember showing this to one of my friends, and they're the ones who are bashing it. I'm going this, when I look at people's shows, I go there with a clear vision, open mind. I'm accepting everything right now. And I'm like, okay, let me watch this show. And that is me. All right. So my friend's watching it because I'm like, yo, you have to help me because you're part of my little core group right now. And we're doing our homework for next season, which is season 2. But we did this. What's the difference? Okay, they're called El Dorado Championship Wrestling. It's ECW. All right, that's creative.
Yeah.
All right. Wait. Raw? SmackDown. I'm like, so now I'm thinking of it as like, okay, we're in the multiverse. Okay, this is Crisis of Infinite Earth. All right, cool. This is me. All right, I have to accept the fact that one is ECW SmackDown, ECW NXT, ECW Raw. My boy is like, What, they can't be fucking original? Are they fucking serious right now? So what happened to John Cena and the Fiend? Where are they? I'm like, Sean, they're in a different multiverse right now. Accept it. It's okay. No! The fuck? I can't watch this, Mac. You're making me fucking watch it. I'm like, okay, cool. See, that's me. I'm not the one. I'm not the bad guy. I'm just trying to do my homework. Okay, my homework was, okay, 1, they're in a big-ass arena. 2, they have an audience of 20-something thousand. We can't beat that. All right. 3, they sold out the Barclays and whatever. 4, they have 4 fucking shows. That's me as a creator. So now, like, okay, how can XVPW be original? Okay, 2, we're going to be in a fucking high school, first of all. So 3, we can't sell out these big arenas. Okay, so how do we make sense? How can we defend our viewership? What happens if we have 33? I have to defend myself. My boys is bashing them. I'm like, shit, how do I defeat the numbers? How do I make our numbers make sense for subscribers and views? We're in St. Beth's School for the Blind. Only blind people and deaf kids watch our show. That's how we defend our shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And the reason why we suck is because our manager is not promoting our product. So there's only one person on product. We only have one cameraman. His name is Mitch. That's how I think. This person is bashing like, they can be fucking original. Are you serious?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And I actually...
You need to find a way to defend your product to the point where people laugh and damn, they really do take this to the next level. So for new, you can be like, well, we're still new. Duh.
That was the whole thing at first. I did the exact same thing. The first show we had, we didn't even have a Titantron. Like, I made the venue as small as possible. And I said it in the commentary on the main event. I said, you want to know why we're in this bingo hole right now? It's because we spent our entire budget on these 2 guys. So enjoy the match. And man, I had like this whole thing written out.
That's dope.
Production time ended up going a little bit slower than 2K did. I even had planned out, before they had created championship, I had planned out how I was going to explain away using WWE championships. I was going to use all old school decommissioned championships. Why? Because we can't afford them.
We found.
And so we have this huge storyline right now. Even I got this guy, this obnoxious kid, in character. Obviously, he's a good kid, but he's obnoxious. He trolls. He goes through all the comments, and normally he gets into trouble in other e-feds doing that. But I was like, let's think outside the box here. Let's use this. Yeah. And so I made him the son of our biggest investor. So having him around, I can't fire him because having this kid around keeps the lights on. And so he can troll. He can piss people off. And the best part about it is he's legit kayfabe and legit 17 years old. And no one's ever used that before. And so I told him, I was like, how would you like to be 17 and new? And he was like, I am 17 and new. And I go, no, how would you like to kayfabe be 17 and new? You're not legal to get in the ring yet. You're not 18. So that means you could do and say whatever you want.
Oh, you know what you should do? You should do the freaking mass transit incident. Just try to find a way to do it. Do that shit.
Eventually it'll happen. But for right now, what we're doing is I'm constantly hitting him up like, dude, I need you to cause some trouble today. Start pissing people off. And so we have an entire roster of guys who want to take this kid out at this point.
That's
like
cool.
partially kayfabe, partially for real. They're like, this little kid, he thinks he can just say whatever he wants. And I'm like, well, I can't fire him. His dad's a huge investor. And you can't touch him because he's not 18.
That's like similar to when TNT, Heyman went to ECW for TNT, and now they had this guy who, kayfabe wise, works for TNT, so that's the reason why they're censoring half of the shit. Oh, we can't do this in ECW because you're gonna get shut down or some shit. He made that character. He made the TNT character, so everything can be corporate. Yeah.
Basically, and so this he's basically just a snot-nosed kid running around, 17, pissing everybody off, and nobody can touch him until storyline-wise somebody does. Hasn't happened yet, but it will happen, and that's when the mass transit incident comes in. And so basically, And to get more heat for him, I have him have matches. He doesn't compete. He uses surrogates. And
You better get Zulek for
always,
that mass transit. He should be the one chopping that shit up. Like,
it draws so much heat because he talks all this crap and then he just picks somebody from the roster. All right, you're representing me tonight, and so he never has to fight his own battle. It's one of my favorite.
That's a dope story.
It's one of my favorite storylines.
I remember the way we found our XVPW championship belt is because, one, Nathaniel forgot it. So, two, he had an intern from Yale, found something from the flea market. Hey, I found this briefcase, which is the Money in the Bank briefcase. And we opened it, and then I was like, it's perfect. And the cameraman's like, wait, isn't that the NX? Shut up! You're not supposed to say that here. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And that's why we got our championship belt, and that's why it's the X. And I got two more. I got two more of the belts. So yeah, I invested a lot in this fucking. I bought a DSLR, 3 championships belts, and wardrobe for XVPW. I spent over at least $2,500 on XVPW. I'm like, shit.
I can understand that.
And going to these wrestling shows just to get fucking shout outs for you fuckers and appreciate one. No. Yeah. Good times.
I definitely tip my hat to you, man. Everything you do is impressive.
And I'm not even getting paid. It's all that's passion right there. If you're not getting paid, that's passion.
Yeah.
I pay my commentators with popcorn.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Dollar beer night.
But yeah, man, we're about to shut this down. So this is where you do your freaking plugins, bro, and promote your show. And 3, 2, 1, go.
Thank you. Anybody who's looking for an E-Fed just to watch or to participate in, we got great role players, we got great NPCs, we have very innovative and outside the box storylines and cause characters, things like that. And it's New Era Wrestling. Please check us out, New Era Wrestling. We're on 2K20. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. If you can't find us because we are relatively new, then you could just find me, Rob Roman. Hit me up in my inbox. I will gladly direct you to our show, to our channel. And yeah, we have an open door policy. Anybody's welcome to come in. I give everybody a shot. It doesn't matter if you were a problem child in 3 other E-Feds, you got blackballed, you got banned. You come to NEW, you get a fair shot. That's my policy. So I like to paint my own picture of a person and a character. So please, thank you for having me on the show. This has been awesome. We went way longer than I ever could have.
This shit was supposed to be only 30 fucking minutes. We went to 2 hours and 12 fucking minutes. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm totally professional. We're gonna go 30 minutes straight. It's all fine.
Use what you can of it, whatever you can.
Nah, we're gonna do the whole entire. I'm gonna do the 2-hour shit. Hopefully I get fucking shit out of this and fucking the network, but whatever.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's been awesome, and just know that you've definitely been sort of a role model for my product. Just seeing the stuff that you do, the innovative stuff, the production quality, the time put in. You asked me what one of my goals is long term. Long term, it's to be where you're at.
Chill, bro. You're never gonna reach that, brother. No. You will, man. Shit, it takes me years to do another season, so you're doing episodes by less. So you hungry? That's what I like. But yeah, man, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the XVPW network. And if you want to be a guest on my show, boom, DM me. Slide into my DMs, man. Just put some lube on it. Anyways, this is the XVPW network. I got Rob Romaine from New. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to him. And check out his Facebook group, New Era Wrestling too, right? That's your Facebook group?
Yes, New Era Wrestling.
All right, cool. All right, later, guys, and we are out.
This is the Unwanted Maniac, Joe Gacy, and you're watching Xtreme Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Xtreme.